All right, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, November 12th here in Connecticut, in beautiful downtown New London, Connecticut. Got up early this morning, came down, served a subpoena, posted some documents at a residence down here. They want me to post it to the door, but the thing is like, 800 pages or something. Really, really huge. Too big to tape to a door, so it's acceptable to kind of lean it up against the door as long as it's in a safe area. And luckily they had a porch, so it was pretty safe to put it there and take a picture of it and move on. So now I'm on my way to Willimantic, get an oil change on this puppy, and then I'm gonna head toward home for a short time and then to the office. So then we got some subpoenas to do tonight out in Torrington, Southwick, Massachusetts. And I think one in Southington too is coming around the bend. So we're busy. Investigation stuff's a little slow right now. That's kind of good because I really want to flip Connecticut red, white, and blue. And things are really bad in terms of the corruption inside the Republican Party. It's got to be exposed. We're going to work real hard to do that. It has to happen. I don't know what else I can say about it. I am concerned about the elections and coming up. The results of the last election, with sweeping Democratic victories all over every town in Connecticut, it tells me the elections are rigged. Sorry, it just tells me that they're rigged. Because there's no way, with all the momentum that MAGA had here in Connecticut, with all the positive things, and with the media being exposed, the fake news being exposed, although hopefully not as much here in Connecticut, but nationwide, including Connecticut, you would have thought that the Republicans did a lot better. Should have done a lot better. It's funny. Did anybody do any exit polling in Connecticut? I'd like to know if there's any exit polling data in Connecticut. Probably not, because if I bet you anything, the exit polling shows a different story. Nobody probably bothered doing exit polling for local elections. I should have done so. I'd like to know. I would like to have stood right in front of Manchester High School, where we were broadcast from last Tuesday, and just asked the people, who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? They probably, most of them probably wouldn't tell me, but if I did it in a professional way, I could say we're doing exit polling, And 60% of the people in the results in Manchester voted for Democrats, and then if you did the exit polling, you'd see it went the other way around. I bet you, did anybody even bother doing exit polling? I know that the stuff's rigged. There's no way with that kind of sentiment. There's no way that many people were voting for these woke policies and all this crap. So something tells me these elections were rigged on a big level. Considering that these Marxists and Democrats, which are the same thing now pretty much, at least that part of the party is, that's running it right now, they don't play by rules. Clearly, they're fomenting violence. I mean, why wouldn't they rig elections? And what better way to rig election than use a computer? Institute computers now to do elections. There's a reason why election counting did not follow the computer age until recently. You cannot do a fair election with a computer. With a simple few keystrokes, a good computer savvy guy could just program it to count things in a different way. It's that simple. Who would ever know? It's in some glitchy little geeky little computer program somewhere. You cannot possibly have fair elections with computers. Another thing is, everybody's on the side of early voting now too. Oh, early voting. Oh, convenient for everybody. Yeah, including the fraud people, including the fixers of elections. There's a reason why the founding fathers had election day on one day. Now, I think what we should do is have election days on Saturdays, not Tuesdays. I believe they used to happen on Tuesday. They were originally on Tuesdays because it was the best day for farmers to take the time out to vote. I'm not sure if that's true. There must have been some reason for it, logistically. But these days, things are different. I think Election Day should be made into a federal holiday, and you have it on a Saturday. That way, anybody can vote. And if you happen to work on weekends, then you just do the long hours. You just make sure if the polls are open from 6 a.m., you have much fewer people working on weekends, so much wider opportunity. If you're working on weekends, you can still get to the polls. Or if you want to do, what if you do Friday? This is kind of, I think there should be one day, but you could do Friday, Saturday, just 2-day voting maybe. So everybody has a chance to vote, but no more early voting, no more of this mail-in voting. No more going 3 weeks beforehand. Early voting is, the voting poll place becomes a little workplace for a whole month or whatever, and then people can just cheat. I don't know why in the world. It's just that's why it has to be in one day. Maybe I'll give you 36, maybe like a Friday, Saturday or something. Or a third, no, I don't want to go to 3 days. But this early voting stuff, I know that the right and the left have both been okay with early voting. Trump embraced it in the last election. The Republicans did pretty well in early voting. Actually, I don't know about that. I'd like to see the 2024 national statistics on that, who did well on early voting. A lot of Republicans did vote early, though. I know that. Maybe I'm a lone voice in the woods on that one. But I'm telling you, we got to get rid of early voting. And we got to get rid of mail-in voting, unless it's absentee ballot, like you're in the military or something, you're out of the country. That's the only way you should be able to do mail-in voting. Dropping voter things in ballots on the side of the road. That was a COVID thing, I know. That was one of the ways they could cheat in 2020. Don't tell me. I'm a mathematical genius. Let me tell you right now, they cheated in 2020. Biden and them would have never won. Trump is way more popular in 2020. So that was rigged. And now that Trump's in again, which is much to their horror, the Marxists are, I'm sure, doing very deep work and figuring out how to rig this next midterm election. And it's very scary to me. And it's going to happen. They're going to succeed unless we get rid of computers. Nationwide, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what states are using computers and what aren't. I have a feeling some states are using computers. I know Connecticut is. Blue states probably. I bet you if you were looked at which states are bringing in computer voting versus which ones are still doing paper ballots, what do you want to bet? That it's blue state. A lot of blue states are doing that. Listen, I'm going to say this now. I'm going to say it again. From a political standpoint, yeah, we want to flip Connecticut red. But really, what we're doing here is flipping Connecticut red, white, and blue. Because what's going on the other side right now is not red, white, and blue. It's not American at all. It's an old European, the oligarchy, like Bernie Sanders likes to talk about. Oligarchy. They're the oligarchy. Look up, if those of you who studied psychiatry or psychology, there's all these defense mechanisms we know about. One of them is called projection. That's what they're doing. They're projecting. We have a lot of mentally ill people running the Democratic Party. It's that simple. Now, since this shutdown thing, I see that there was a little bit of an uprising of about 8 Democrats that came across and voted to end the shutdown and seem to be maybe standing up. I think what should happen is, we talk a lot about the RTCs, and I'm running for Congress, so I'm going to go to the RTCs. We're trying to, I thought I had a manager and a treasurer. I do have a manager and treasurer, but we're having trouble coordinating things right now, so it's a little bit frustrating, but we'll figure it out. And we're going to move forward as much as possible. Give us everything I've got to save America and save Connecticut for at least the next year anyway, until the next election. We'll see what happens after that. I think everybody else who's watching, who's listening, should do the same thing. Commit yourself to saving this state. And I have a lot of good ideas how to do that, so hopefully we can get together and figure it all out. It's about putting people together to work together to fight this thing is really what it is. That's the biggest challenge. It's sad. A lot of people want to just give the nod and the wave and the thumbs up, but they don't really want to get in the trenches themselves. Well, there's a lot at stake, so get in the trenches. Help out any way you can. If you want to contact me and help me with my campaign, which I don't even want to call it a political campaign, it's really just a campaign in general to help. The political part of it is part of it, but it's to save freedom. It's a freedom campaign for red, white, and blue, baby. And if you want to be a part of it, let me know. If you got the time, if you're a college kid, you got the time, you're an older person, you got the time. I know a lot of people in their parental ages. I was a parent, I have 3 kids. I know what it's like in my 20s and 30s raising my kids, and you're busy, it's hard. For you, God bless you, take care of your kids. But vote in all the elections, local and state, every year. Vote Republican. You must. Because it's not about red versus blue anymore. It really is. It really isn't. It's more like the yellow and the red, the hammer and sickle versus the red, white, and blue. We're the red, white, and blue, by the way, over here. And I'm not even kidding. That's what this is. That's what it's become. The Democratic Party's been hijacked by a bunch of freaking Marxists. And it's time for rank and file regular Democrats, reasonable moderate Democrats like Fetterman, and a few others that stood up and ended the shutdown, thank goodness, to stand up and fight off these fleas, these scumbags, these evil Marxist people that have infiltrated your party. Get them out. And then we're going to clean them up off the streets of Chicago and Portland, too. They got to go. Arrested and in prison, by the way. Not just arrested and bailed out to throw more bottles and bullets at our ICE agents. At any rate, my campaign, despite what I'm saying now, and I'm worried about election integrity. We are working on that. Hopefully people will really come together and fight that thing hard. We're going to do it by exposure. We want the voter rolls, by the way. If you're a town clerk or a secretary, a keeper of records in one of the towns, or if you're the Secretary of State's office, we demand voter records. And we're going to come and request them. We're going to do it on videotape, too. And you better come through with real, true voter records, voter rolls, because those are public information, and especially for a campaign. You need to provide the voter rolls complete and up to date. These state websites are purposely out of date with their lists of treasurers and RTC chair people, state committee central members. They're from like 2-3 years ago. They're all outdated. And they do that on purpose to make it hard to make a connection with them. It really is a true, corrupt, cloak and dagger thing they're doing. Real, truly, it's disgusting. The deep state of Connecticut. Let's talk about that. It is beyond disgusting. For those of you who aren't aware of it, look up what happened to John Flynn. What happened to him? We have political prisoners here in Connecticut. Literally, we do. This thing is a gulag we're dealing with. We don't have one statewide law enforcement official elected by the people anymore. I mean, law enforcement official with a badge. We have an attorney general whose name is Wu or whatever, who is an absolute traitor. He's an absolute communistic pig, really. I don't care, I'll call him that. Wong, Wu, whatever. He may end up being the one running for governor. We really, truly need a strong candidate. Fazio and Stewart are the two major Republican candidates right now. And, you know, I think I like Stewart the best. However, neither one of them, in my opinion, is up for the job. Is what we really need. Neither one of them is a Connecticut Trump, which is what we really need. We need a real loudmouth like me to come run for governor. I'm not running for governor. I'm running against Larson. But right now, I'm frustrated. If you want a little update on the campaign, it's not officially launched yet. I really want it to happen as soon as possible because I know exactly in my head what I want to do with it. I know it's going to lead to victory as long as I get the people around me and understand the situation. I don't want to sound too negative. Election integrity is a negative thing right now, so I have to bring it up. But believe me when I tell you, this campaign is going to be positive. 90%, 90 to 95% positive about the virtues of capitalism, the virtues of American values, the virtues of the red, white, and blue. But we do have to define the evils of the evils of communism, the evils of socialism, and how people suffer under it. You would think most people would be aware of that. A lot of people get swept away by charm. I think we don't talk about that much here. Like the Mandami charm thing. He's good looking, he smiles a lot, and they say that a lot on TV, and it attracts a lot of voters. A lot of people who just don't think in depth. We have a lot of people that vote that don't think in depth. And that's bad. Some guy, some communist take over New York City because he's good looking and he smiles a lot and he says a lot of crap people don't get. I mean, a lot of crap people buy into, I mean. That's okay. How's that okay? There's got to be some checks and balances against that. Doesn't there have to be that? How can we... I don't know. It's got to be with education. I don't know where we're going with. Right now, all of the position of the federal government under McMahon has been, Linda McMahon would make a great governor of Connecticut, by the way, is that we're turning it back to the states. Well, that's good for the red states, but not so good for the blue states that are going to further indoctrinate their kids without any federal oversight. think there needs to be a little further bit. We got to make sure these curriculums are in line with American values, not with this rise of anti-Semitism. I believe has come from our education system, which is teaching the wrong crap. Listen, I don't understand how even some people that I've even spoken with on the right that have been on my team have said they don't like Israel, and I'm sorry, I'm with Israel all the way through. I'm like Huckabee on this thing. I can't believe. Now, look, I'm not saying everyone in Israel is an angel, that they're all stars of David, wonderful King David people. I'm not saying that. Every country has its good and bad actors. Sure as hell we do. And I'm sure there's bad actors in Israel as well. But look at a country that was, deprived of its homeland thousands of years ago and never really was able to find a place to call home, even though they were kicked out of their home in the ancient times. And eventually, as a result of World War II, it was the Allies' decision to give them a little land back. This was not a huge place. That was their home. Give them their homeland back. They righted it wrong, honestly, and it got on for centuries and centuries. And of course, that irked a lot of radical Islamists in the area, and they've pledged right away from that time on, 1948, I believe it was, that Israel was going to be driven out. It really wasn't allowed to exist, and we've had this problem ever since. And of course, Israel's been attacked from within. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, these are workers. These are workers. I thought they were, it was a political thing. That election's over. We're in Franklin, Connecticut now, working our way up 32 toward Willimantic. And we're gonna once we get to the oil change place, we're gonna cut it off. But I lost my train of thought. Don't you hate that? But the bottom line is, election integrity is a big deal. The evils of capitalism. I mean, why do I keep reversing it? The evils of communism have to be known. Our education system needs help. Lyndon McMahon has turned it over to the states, which is a good thing. It's partway there. But we can't let kids be taught anti-Semitism. Oh, yeah, that's where I was going with it. So picture yourself as a Jewish citizen in Israel growing up. Say you're born in 1948. You're a baby. You're born in Israel. By the time we get to 1978, you're 30 years old. Or 67 was a 6-day war, I think it was. Well, the bottom line is Israel's been under attack ever since they got there. With bombings. And certainly it's in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and 2000s. We've had countless suicide bombings, attacks, all the way up leading up to October 7th, 2023, right? Imagine growing up in a country like that where there's constant terrorist attacks from outside countries. You're surrounded by countries that want you gone, and they're killing your citizens. What do you expect them to do? Of course they're going to fight back. You join the military, you get in the military, and you fight for Israel. You're going out there into Palestine or to Gaza, But despite all that hatred toward Israel, they do exercise as a policy humane treatment as much as possible, as little civilian casualties as possible. Like Netanyahu said, they even feed the people that are, that they've been affected by this war. Now listen, there's no doubt some of their more angry soldiers, like the ones I described, might have been born in 1948 and grown up being bombed, having their loved ones killed all around them all their life. They finally get in a military uniform and they're out in their 40s or 50s or whatever. Or 60 now. If you were born in 48, you're a little too old to fight in the military. But you get my point. If you grew up in Israel with all that crap, and you're probably pretty bitter about the people attacking you your whole life. It's right out of like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or something, really. And you go up there and you're fighting them. Now some of the soldiers probably do some pretty nasty shit sometimes that they shouldn't be doing, despite the anger, because they're angry. I'm sure there are things that are happening that shouldn't happen. But Israel government as a whole shown quite a bit of restraint, try to be as humane as possible. Despite being bombed. And what happened on October 7th, 2023? For a bunch of white, young liberals, college kids running around the campuses, talking about anti-Semitism, and not even asking about October 7th. They're like, well, they don't defend it, but they make it out like it's tit for tat. It's not. Israel's not the one that wants. Israel's never said, oh, we're going to drive all these Arab countries out of here. We're going to have a Jewish world everywhere. They never said that. They're just trying to have a little homeland, man. Just people are good at math, too. And they're conservative money-wise. This is good. My mom always said, if you ever need a good lawyer or a good accountant, get a good Jew, or accountant especially, get a good Jewish one. So, you know, what the hatred over the Jews is all about. And I get that what's behind it, the Palestinians and all that. They don't have their homeland, blah, blah, blah. I would say that if the Palestinians could be put in a place where they could govern themselves and remain friendly toward, pledge allegiance toward, not allegiance, but peace with Israel, of coexistence, and definitely can't have the corruption, the Hamas infiltration or anything like that. You gotta have that all cleared out. And then maybe, I think maybe a small Palestinian state somewhere might be good, because I think they once had a homeland too, maybe. I don't really know what the real deep history behind Palestine is. Never heard of a Palestine nation before. Maybe there was one. I don't think so. Maybe they're just a religious sect. Interesting thing. But I'm not against them having some kind of a homeland at some point. Whether it's a nation or not, or just an area they can live in, I don't know. But they'd have to pledge peace. Let's have peace. Trump has made peace all around the world. And you have to call him Hitler, a guy that started wars. It just makes no sense. That's why it's mental illness. The mental health crisis in this country is a huge problem. It really is. I'm bouncing all over the place here. But let me tell you right now, election integrity is important. We got to turn our attention to that. We want the voter rolls. We want to clean them up. We want them cleaned up to start with. And towns in Connecticut, by the way, have the option of opting out of the new computers. I believe they're bringing in new computers, or they did already, or I don't know. Recently, software is not going to do elections, man. It's too easy to rig. If we let computers take over the elections, we will never have Republican rule again. The Trump thing will be a flash in the pan, and we'll have dark ages after that. And I mean dark ages. I don't mean just bad times because Democrats are in the White House. I mean the end of America for sure, as we know it. They'll pack the courts. We hear all the stories. They will pack the courts, the Supreme Court, to get the liberals in there. They will get rid of the filibusters. If we haven't, since we never did it, they'll do it. They'll use it to pass all kinds of communist agenda. And we'll be powerless to stop it. We would have to rely on our military to rise up or something, just like a good third world country would do. And we can't have that. We could end up with America and an Islamic state like Iran. Iran could end up conquering America. Not directly, but through this Islamic and anti-Semitism crap. It shouldn't be tolerated. I know we're doing things to fight it like we haven't before, and I'm glad. I'm so glad. But anybody who disrupts a Jewish person from trying to go to their class, or harasses them or commits violence against Jews for anti-Semitic reasons should be put in prison a minimum of 10 years. Minimum. Any acts of violence or intimidation against any group of people, Jews, blacks. If this was happening against blacks, everybody would be in an uproar. What's happening against Jews, and nobody seems to care. Some people care. I care. A lot of people care. But I'm hearing now about right-wing factions starting to hate the Jews. That's really messed up. Keep your eye on the ball, far right-wingers. I know you're out there. You feel left out because the right-wing, moderate right-wing, us, is winning. And you want to you want to take it to the next level. I get that, but doing so, it circles around to the left again. You got to be careful. So just chill out. A lot of the things that you guys want are going to happen, but not your extreme crap. No anti-Semitism is tolerable here. Religious freedom is part of the Second Amendment. Oh, First Amendment, excuse me. Okay? That's the rule of the law of the land. So when you're intimidating religious people, Jews or otherwise, Christians even, then you're breaking the law. Then you're going to be held accountable. Anyway, we're going to have this thing shortly. It's going to take forever to load. I'm definitely looking to upgrade technology-wise so we can move things along quicker for videos. But this sucker here is already over 20 minutes, I think. Yeah, almost 25. And it takes a month to upload. It really does. It's crazy. And so I won't be able to upload it until later probably because I'm heading into Willimantic here shortly. Getting close to, I think we're still in Franklin right now if I'm not mistaken. But this is Route 32 and another part of Connecticut, central, southern Connecticut sort of. Got a busy day. Gonna meet with my people at my company a little bit, talk about transitioning my role with my own company so I can concentrate more on running against Larson. But again, I'm trying to build the foundation for it. It's been very difficult. I really need people to rally around this. People just don't. I have something going on, so it's good, but we really got to get our ducks in a row. There's no time. There's only 350 something odd days or whatever it is left till the next election. We're going to start tracking that day by day. And this campaign is going to be transparent. It's not official yet, it's not official yet. That's what I'm trying to do. And I need the knowledge base. I'm as knowledgeable as I am. I need experts with a knowledge base, so I don't step in any puddles or any mud when I'm trying to make any mistakes that they can use against me. And I'm running this campaign because they're going to believe me that he's going to be on me once I do this. Believe my loved ones are telling me all about it. I end up isolated from my own family, my own friends, even my own girl because of this. I would have thought they'll all be like proud. If this was back in the day, they'd be proud of me and can't wait for me to get in and root for me and be all part of it. But they're scared because the other side has become so intimidating. It's become Marxism. We're not fighting against moderate Democrats anymore. We're fighting against Marxism, and those people don't play by the rules. They rig elections. They'll use violence. So therefore, and understandably so, my family and friends are a little more skeptical. A lot more, not a little bit more. They'll say, yeah, they're proud of what I'm doing, but at the same time, they're just afraid of repercussions. I don't think they have much to worry about, quite frankly. Although there's always the outside possibility there, but I'm the one that's put myself out there in danger or whatever. I don't think it's got to that point, really. I'm just running for office. I mean, how many girlfriends and mothers and, of congressional candidates get killed? I know we're in a different era of political violence. That's why the atmosphere is so different. We need people that have the guts, honestly, the bravery to stand up to this thing. Can't be afraid. I know there's still a lot of brave men and women out there in Connecticut that want to fight this thing, especially those of you who have lost elections in the past few years, maybe, been frustrated. Come to the surface and contact me. There's not a lot of people watching this stuff, my views right now. We get more and more. Just go ahead and like me, subscribe to our CT Common Sense channel here. And I'm going to end this now here in South Windham. God bless Connecticut. God bless America. Well, I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Keep up the good fight. God bless America.